getting students for their online tutoring business. And that's one of the biggest things that we want to be able to accomplish, right? In the beginning, we are all wondering, well, how do you actually get students? So today you're going to get to hear how these tutors have gone through, had that experience. You're going to get to learn a little bit more about what they do, be introduced to other people inside of our community, and have a great time. So thanks for joining us today. Also, for those of you who do not know, the Jumpstart, your online tutoring business masterclass, the doors are open. The link is inside of the description. So take a look at that. If you're ready to join us and really get your business off to a great start, then you'll definitely want to click that link and join us because class starts next week. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We've got Dr. Lauren Joseph here. Hello, Dr. Lauren Joseph. How are you?
Hi, Jen. Hi, Anna. I'm doing great.
Awesome. So tell people a little bit more about yourself.
So I am Dr. Lauren Joseph of LJ Academics, and I am an academic writing and research coach. So I help college and graduate students conquer their writing and research goals. So anything from short essays to dissertations and everything in between. So awesome. I was a college professor for 10 years and then decided to start LJ Academics. So,
and what made you make that decision to make the leap?
I got really sick and couldn't do my job anymore.
Yeah.
And then had
Similar
to figure
story.
out something else to do. Yeah. So I really enjoy, I enjoy academia. I'm okay with it. Enjoy the process, but I also, I enjoy research and I enjoy working with students as well. And I enjoy working with students on research. So that's one of the things that I get to do. So.
Yay! That's awesome. Isn't it great when you can take like what you enjoyed doing in your job and you get to like bring it into like this new job career that you create for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's fabulous. I love it. Mm-hmm. And we've got Anna Dinnisuk here today. Hello, Anna. How are you today?
I'm good.
Awesome. So glad that you are here and joining us and tell people a little bit more about who you are, what it is that you do, and where you're from.
I'm an online reading and writing tutor for elementary to middle school aged kids. If you ask nicely, I could also help adults and older people. I live in Canada near Toronto, and I am in the business of my business and working online in general, because I really enjoy working online. If for anybody who doesn't know, the weather in Canada can be a little bit spotty. It can be really hot, or there can be a lot of snow or stuff like that. So I enjoy working online because I don't have to leave my house and deal with a whole entire commute and all this weather that's just unpredictable.
Yes. That is one of the beautiful things about doing online tutoring, isn't it? Like, you don't have to worry about snowstorms. You don't have to worry about going out in bad weather. You don't have to deal with the cold. I live in Wisconsin, so, we don't have the best weather here either. It's actually colder than Alaska here in Wisconsin most of the time. And the only way that I know that is because I had a student in Alaska, and I asked her every single day I did tutoring, what's the temperature? And it was always warmer.
That's great.
Yeah. I was like, that does not seem fair. Like, there's something wrong with that. And now I know that most people live in southern Alaska, but still, the thought in my head, like, when I think of like the coldest place on earth, it's like Alaska or Antarctica, but like, that's like one of the coldest places. And it was colder here in Wisconsin. So yeah, that was a big blow. So glad that you guys are joining us online as well. And so glad that you get to hear all of this. I see we've got lots of people like Lori Baker in the house, some of our old friends from the last Jumpstart group and crew that are coming to join us as well. So thank you guys for being here and supporting our amazing tutors that are joining us today. So Anna, actually, you have something interesting because you have actually already joined the Jumpstart class and you decided to join a second time around. What was a big deciding factor for helping you decide to join for a second round?
I just thought I would like to meet more people and maybe like take it a bit more seriously than I did like the first time around, because the first time around I wasn't sleeping well. And so that it impacted my ability to see things like as they were. Like if you don't get enough sleep, the entire world like basically doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it really doesn't. And we do have lots of people that they like to go through it a second time around, meet some new people. And also, again, like once you already know like what the pathway is, all of a sudden everything becomes a little bit more clear. Like, okay, I know they're going to be focusing on this. I know they're going to be focusing on this. I can dive into it a little bit deeper. You know, some people, the first time they do it, it's kind of surface level. And then the second time they go, they're able to dive deeper. And you were able to get more students as you went through it the second time around, weren't you?
I got another student, and then after that, I responded to a Facebook ad, and I got another student from that.
Yay! Congratulations. That's awesome. How did the first student that you get come through?
Through a referral from somebody who I met at Jumpstart the first time around.
Oh, see, look at that. You never lose those relationships, do you?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. So it's and I think this is a big piece about our journey that a lot of people don't take into consideration. Some people, they're like, I want to go through this stuff as fast as possible. And it's like, sometimes we have to enjoy the journey the way that it's designed, right? Versus trying to like go fast forward in life all the time, because you are going to meet incredible people that do have that opportunity to refer you when it's a good fit. And I don't always know somebody who could be a good fit. Like, I don't know anybody right now that's going for the dissertation, but you know what? Maybe in 3 months or 6 months, I do. And then there's only going to be one person who comes to my mind that I know that does that. And Lauren is going to be the person that I'm going to refer when that happens. So, it's like all of these different things that happen, like they might not happen immediately, but they happen over time. So I think it's amazing the different relationships that we get to meet. What was your experience like as you went through Jumpstart this time around, Anna?
I enjoyed it more, partly because I participated in it a little bit more. Near the end, though, I did get kind of distracted because I had other stuff that I wanted to do. And then there's a big difference between like actually going through the steps and then actually printing out like the posters and stuff like that. So that took me a little bit of time. And because of like the weather as it is in Canada, I think that like maybe handing out posters or flyers now would make more of an impact than if I did it earlier, because like I did put up some posters, but they blew off because it's Canada. So just
We're kind
something
of
to
lucky
be
here in
aware
the
of.
U.S. We have the gas stations where like you can post those things like on cork board, so they don't fly off
Oh,
anywhere.
right. I hadn't thought of that. But
Some duct
what,
tape.
but what I mean to say is that postering like outdoors can be a good strategy sometimes if you poster it near like a bus stop or something like
Yeah.
that. But generally, it's not that good if you live in Canada because stuff blows away. There's snow, there's wind. I think even in Alaska, which is warmer than Wisconsin, in terms of like the elements, unless you have like a plastic protected poster, you're honestly better off going inside or just handing them out inside a mall.
Yeah. There you go. There you
For
go.
sure.
Awesome. And Lauren, we actually met on Clubhouse. You were kind of joining in on our calls and really participating, getting on stage and all of those kinds of things. What motivated you to join Jumpstart?
I wanted to be forced to do all the things that I knew I needed to do to get my business off the ground. Like you can do kind of asynchronous courses that, allow you that teach you the skills, but unless you have some kind of accountability and you have a kind of an infrastructure that you're working with, it's not as effective, And so that's what I really liked about Clubhouse. It really had that. You went through it week by week with a group of people that you were accountable to, and I'm not a competitive person, but I didn't want to like let my group down of, being the one person who didn't do the thing, and that was really, really helpful about being in that program, is you're really forced to do the things that you had heard about, that about, that that you can glean from different conversations, but being forced to do it, and then having someone hand you the information as well. So that was really that's.
And then you ended up starting your own Facebook group and ended up getting a client through that. So tell us about that.
Clubhouse.
Well, Clubhouse. That's what I meant. Yeah.
So actually, that's what I was doing before I got into the program. I started it with with a professor, and I was getting, I don't know, one client every room or two, but it was a lot, it was like a lot of work for, I got some clients. It was a slow thing. And then, but I basically was like, okay, I need I'm out of money and I can't wait any longer. And so actually I signed up for Wyzant, which and I've been super successful on Wyzant, and I completely attribute that to what I learned in Jumpstart. Like writing the profile, I was able to write it, it was not all about me, not all about what I do, but it was all about, what the student does, what the student is going through, what the student needs, and how I can help them. And that was really, really like, that I think is really important. And then, the part, I am building the business at the same time, while also having some money, which is a helpful thing in life. And so Wyzant has also helped me to learn what my, sort of special skills are, or what I should focus on and what I can do. And then also kind of how the billing works with that, and kind of making changes to the business as I had it structured, which we've talked about. So, and I think so that's, I think that answered your question. I'm not sure what the original question was.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, Wyzant is a great place to be able to get some students in the very, very beginning, right? Because you're just, sometimes we don't know even if the area that we tutor is going to be an area that people want. And so when you get on some of those platforms and you start saying, oh, well, I can get a client from there, then you're like, okay, people do want this for tutoring. And you kind of had like a different area than, some other tutors. And so that was a great place for you to be able to discover, yes, the students are there. Yes, I can be able to continue to make money using this resource and this tool. And now I can continue to build my side of the business so that people are continuing to find me over and over again. In the beginning, I show you guys a lot of like short-term strategies, where it's some things that you can do really quickly to be able to get students. And then we move it on into some longer-term strategies that take more time to develop, but oh my goodness, are so worth it for doing it. And I know that you started getting on into like the SEO and the keywords and starting to find keywords. And those are great strategies that a lot of people don't really talk about when it comes to finding clients, especially since they take time, right? They're not like that overnight, I'm going to get a client right away with this. What was your thought as you started learning about like keywords and those kinds of things?
I had gone through like a Neil Patel course, but I didn't get it. I was like, okay, this is going to take a lot more brain power than I am willing to put in. And I need to and so I thought, this is complicated. It's a project. It's a thing that I have to, really focus on and do well if I'm going to do it. Because, but it will help. And then, comments that you've given me on the website as well, to kind of focus on, really streamline what I'm doing. And the thing I don't like about Wyzant, which is that you don't have, it's a lot of like kind of last minute, kids who need help now. And I'm a sucker. So of course I'm like, okay, like when is, I'll help you. And so it really is kind of counter to how it's not like a long-term way to run a life, basically. Like I want the business to be, to be developing, and take that information that I'm getting on Wyzant and put it into the business. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And Anna, I know that as you were kind of going through the course, you continue to develop good networking relationships with the people inside of this course as well, didn't you? So what was your experience with that?
I like the people that I met in this Jumpstart. I met a baby. Remember Nathan?
Oh, yes. We're not calling Nathan a baby, just his son is a baby.
His son Gideon is a baby, and I really like babies. I hope that some babies will show up at my online birthday party later this month. But I digress. Anyway, I met some people. I liked Gloria too. Gloria was very helpful to me, and generally I enjoyed it. But of course, getting a bunch of adults into a group at the same time consistently week after week is a little bit like herding cats. It's very difficult.
Yeah, that's why it's a lot easier when you have a course like this, right? Because then you get that opportunity to just have somebody else take care of all of that kind of stuff for you. So I'm glad you were able to meet some other amazing people. Well, as you guys were going through the course, what did you experience as you were going through the course as far as support, from the other coaches, from the accountability partners? What did you guys experience?
For me, yeah, that was one of the best parts, was really like I had a couple accountability partners and I learned so much from them, and met with, had a standing appointments with them. And that was just huge. I mean, they just helped me so much. And then with the other people in the group, we would, have other sort of meetings at different times. And that was just, we're all, it's funny because I started to laugh at one point because I said, oh my gosh, we are all like teachers, tutors, and we're like trying to help each other. Like we're all so helpful. That it actually can be kind of comical at times, like we're like, well, let me, anyway, so it ends up being very, very helpful kind of environment. And so I learned, also, they have a lot of knowledge and, different perspectives that I was able to learn about and learn from. So, they helped me a ton. So I'm glad.
I love it. How about you? How about for you, Anna?
Like I enjoyed it. I enjoy having a second opinion on stuff and stuff like that. My issue with that is that I have a bit of like a branding problem, in the sense that when you work with children, when you go from working with adults to working with children, there's a lot more emphasis on doing stuff like in a fun way. So what I've been trying to do is go to fun events that people might bring kids to and then write about them, because like when like you teach like higher ed and stuff like that, some of the way that the material is presented is kind of boring, but you can't do that with kids, or it just wouldn't hold their attention.
Yeah, absolutely. So somebody who is thinking about joining the Jumpstart program, but they're kind of on the fence, what are some things that you would say to them?
Anna, do you want to go first? Or should I I'm just trying to think. I would say that if you're ready to really do it, this will help you get from not having the business to having the business. Like it really will take you from point A to point B. And if you already have one that is in, that exists, but you want to develop it, it will help you refine that and make it better in the ways that you want it to. And I also thought was interesting that I don't think we've talked about is like, I think in that course, there was also there's some discussion about kind of the psychology of building a business and psychology, of, like the fears that you have and the, kind of other dimensions of the starting a business. And so I wouldn't do it if you want it to be kind of like a lower thing that's very low on priority list, because it is, to do it right and to get the benefits, you do have to commit to it and be part of it. It's a bit of a lifestyle for a little while, especially in certain parts, a little bit more than others, but it's totally worth it. I mean, if you want to start a tutoring company and tutoring business, like it's like a no-brainer. This is what you got to do. I mean,
yeah, it definitely helps too, just to get those pieces in place and skip the mistakes, move forward, get more students quicker. Like when I started doing this with other people, they did not get the amount of students that people are getting now. It's absolutely insane how, like, if somebody were to tell me that I would be able to get 10 students in 10 weeks, I would have been like, what? Like that would have like blown me away, because I never had that result in the early days. So like to have that kind of energy and excitement that really pushes you forward would have been something I would have absolutely loved. You ended up getting a ton of students through this process too, Lauren, didn't you?
I did. I feel a little funny because they were through Wyzant, but I had six, I think 1 week was 9 different students, and actually 3 of them were from that 1 week. I think 3 of them were ones that I had gotten, like people that I had met on Clubhouse, who had been in my rooms on Clubhouse, who decided that week, this is like the busiest week ever I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And I think I had 9 students, like 6 from Wyzant and 3 from,
oh my gosh,
the Clubhouse rooms. And
that was just 1 week.
Yeah,
that was just 1 week, but then you had more students too that you got throughout the program as well.
Every week I get like 6 or 7 new students, like at least. Oh my God. Yeah, and
that's
they're not all continuous students, but some of them are like, hey, I need you to be, I need like 5 hours right now, and then they actually do come back like over time. Like they do have them come in. Yeah. So I'm
Wow.
busy, which is great.
Wow. That is very busy. And that's exactly where we want to be in our business. And, I had one person who's, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was a really high number. And I remember her saying that in the first 3 months, I think she had ended up making like $15,000. And I think about that, I just think, oh my gosh, that would have been $15,000 that she would have left. So many people, they look at the price of a course and they think, oh my gosh, that's too expensive. But what is the cost of not purchasing it when it can get you such great results? And I think this is the real thing that really has to get people there, like, which is exactly why I have that refund guarantee in place, because there are going to be people that are going to, they are coming at a different level. Maybe there is more some of the mindset stuff that needs to be worked through. Maybe they are still they just thought about maybe creating their business like a week or two ago, and then they join the class and they're going through the process, and they're going through it, but they don't get a student. But guess what? Getting a student, if they continue to take action, is inevitable. But they get a refund if they don't get a student within those 10 weeks. And I have one person that happened to her, and I'm like, you know what? I'm happy to give you a refund. I'm excited that you were able to learn the amount that you have learned, and I wish you the best on your journey. And here we go. Because honestly, if you guys are not making money from this process, then for me, there we go. It was $30,000 in 3 months. I knew I didn't have the right number. Thank you. It was $30,000. Can you imagine leaving $30,000 on the table because you thought the $567 was too expensive to pay for a course? Like, it's like, this is an investment, and it's an investment where you guys don't have to take the hard hit on it, right? Like, there's a payment plan. I make it as easy as possible.
The payment plan was helpful. When I was like, ooh, I don't have $600 right now, but the payment plan was super helpful, because that was, that was a big part of it.
So I think those are some of the important things to kind of think about. If you guys are on the fence, or you're thinking about, like, should I move forward with this, you are going to get value from the community, from the people that come and join us. So awesome. Any final words that you guys want to add about your experience as you went through the program, or advice for other people that are just getting started?
I think that you get what you put into it, and like the more you put into it, the more value you're likely to get. I think that people who are maybe like a little bit like on the fence about starting their own business may not get like as much value out of it, because if you're not as committed to something, you're not going to push yourself to do the work, but you still learn something regardless of like whether or not the business ends up being successful or not, which I think is good.
Yeah. And I think also that even if you're not 100, like, let's say you still have a full-time job and you're not 100% ready to start doing it, this is information you're going to have to learn. Like, you will have to learn this information to start an online tutoring business or like academic coaching business. Like, you just will. Like, but it is, it is a commitment of time and energy, or you can just kind of glean what you can from it, and, do your best. And we're all grown-ups, and, that's it. That's it.
Oh, my gosh. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, you guys, for joining us today and sharing what your experience was like, and sharing some of the ways that you were able to get students through referrals, through Wisant, through Clubhouse. Those are all strategies that work, and really it is important, you guys, when it comes to getting students, that you start thinking about not just the one way that you can get students, but what are all of the ways that I can begin incorporating in order to get students, right? And really stay focused on income producing activities. That's something that I try to like really hone in on. There's a lot of activities that you can start doing, like creating a business logo and all these other things that they really are a waste of time in the beginning, because they don't add to your bottom line of being able to get a client. They're things that you can take care of later with your branding, but they're not things that are like immediate. I have to do this right now before I do this, right? So you don't have to create a ton of materials before you start online tutoring. That's going to be a time waster. Like, we've got to focus on getting those clients, getting them in the door, providing, a valuable experience for them as they go through the process.
Yeah, I was going to say that I think probably one of the most important part was doing the empathy map. Or I had actually already done that in a way, because I had already written worked with someone for the text for my website. So I'd had to fill out their ideal client kind of thing. But I know that, writing the flyer. And I know that everyone else has been like, well, the empathy map, like that is 100%, because you need to know what your client, who you're talking to. And that's like foundational. Like there's no way around that. So I think that was super, super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever people create the marketing and stuff, they have to make that flip. The flip has to be that it can't be all about me. If all of my marketing is all about me, you don't have the opportunity to speak to your ideal client. So you have to really understand what's going on inside of their head so that you can write the right words. Then the other stuff becomes a lot easier. What do I write on my website? What do I put in my, in posts that I put inside of Instagram? What do I put in my stories, right? All of a sudden, these things start coming together because you really understand them. So again, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you guys coming and sharing your journey. And I know you got to head on out, Dr. Lauren Joseph. So thank you so much. And thank you, Anna, for joining us as well. And thank you guys all that joined us inside of the chat to be able to learn some great strategies for being able to get some online tutoring students. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye everyone.